The President of the Republic's Back to the Land call is yielding a lot of dividend in all important domains of agriculture. Gambian women are doing their fair share for. They are responsible for almost 40% of the agricultural production compared to their male counterparts.
The majority of the women are rural based, and therefore automatically the majority of also the rural people are agriculturalists, you know that, as I said, but the majority of the people in the rural area are female. We are estimating between around 52% of the farmers in the Gambia are women. And where are they? They are mainly in horticulture, in raising small ruminants and marketing them, and also in crop production, among others. So some of them also are workers in the field of agriculture, extension officers, for example, food processing experts, and so on and so forth. So they are making their mark.
Rice production in this country, 99% of the rice producers are women.
The 1997 Constitution of the Gambia also guarantees equal access to education without regard to sex, and as a result, a new national policy for the period 2004-2015 was formulated.
The education system in this country has seen great transformation, and a lot of efforts have been put in to make sure that we are where we are today. And the priority is to make sure that we make education accessible to every child, make the education system relevant to the needs of this country and the citizenry, and also to make sure that the education we provide is of quality. So there are three core things that the education system is looking at as pronounced in our education policy, and that is access, relevance, and quality.
Two notable features of the policy are early childhood development and adult and non-formal education.
Early childhood centers, we have a student population of 8,432. With the madrasa institutions, we have a population of 16,103, and with the legislative centers, we have enrollment of 121 adult and non-formal learners in Region 1.
The National Education Policy 2004-2015 is non-discriminatory and outlines gender equity and targets the poor and the disadvantaged.
The Gambian education system is a model in the region, and people are beginning to come to see how we are doing it. And I want to say that it's all about teamwork and the political commitment that we have, as education is a high priority for the government of the day.
Education. That's also a sector where in the Gambia I think it's a good practice for gender mainstreaming, because it's a sector that had really put gender on the table from the time they are planning, from the time, in fact, they're doing what you call analysis, feasibility study of a particular project. If there was a previous project, what had they done, what didn't it achieve, and what are the gaps? And this new project, what is its aim and objectives, and how do we go about it? And it is only at that time that you look at the situation of men and women, boys and girls, then you plan. If you plan it at that stage, then you will have it right.
Another intervention in this area is the Child-Friendly School initiative supported by UNICEF, which promotes gender equality in enrollment and achievement and advocates for the elimination of gender disparities in the education system, especially at lower basic level.
There are stakeholders who have an interest in education, and some of the schools are benefiting. Like you go to St. Basulejo, you have a computer lab, you have a library facility, you have an ECD center, catering for the students that don't have access to education, and bringing them in at that early age, creates a smooth transition into the lower basic, thus enhancing mothers to take on their other daily tasks, and also not denying the girl child from coming to school. What I mean is some of these children are, asked to stay at home, take care of their siblings, maybe do the housework. But with the creation of these centers in the lower basic schools, it enhances the load, or it removes the load from the girl child and mothers. So the children come to school, they're conversant with the environment, and it creates a smooth liking for the school, and they stay on. So gradually the 7-year-olds should be in school, but we're finding out that some of them are still at home, and then they don't come in until they're 8 or 9, missing a year or 2. So with the creation of the the ECD component, they're able to come in and then be familiar with the environment and move on into the lower grades, and in that they can have 9 years of uninterrupted education.
Equal gender participation in school management is also being promoted through the school management structures.
I would probably say from to the end of the policy period, we have a big task, and that is to make sure that every child is in school, and that is accomplishing the education for all goal, which falls within the year of the policy period, that's 2015. We want to make sure every child is in school, not only in school, but is acquiring, quality education. And it is going to be the responsibility of the department to make sure that we coordinate all activities coming into the schools and make sure that the way forward is positive for everybody.
We worked closely with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education as far back as 2001, and we have put in place a girls' education program which we have been supporting.
Under the third education sector project, Phase 1 1998-2006 and Phase 2 2006-2011, the Ministry of Education, in collaboration with development partners, was able to build classrooms throughout the country to improve access to quality education for all Gambians.
Before the 2000s, there were very few girls in schools. You go to classrooms, you found very few girls, a lot more boys than girls. And affordability was one of the reasons why the girls were not being enrolled in school, or were not allowed to continue beyond lower basic education. But since the government came in with the scholarship trust fund, the Department of State for Education came in with the scholarship trust fund, it has encouraged a lot more girls to be able to go beyond the level of primary or lower basic education into upper basic and beyond, because education is expensive. And the Department of State for Education coming in with this scholarship trust fund provision has come to encourage a lot of parents to allow their girls to continue their education beyond lower basic to senior secondary.
Additional resources from the Education for All Fast Track initiative have